Amanda.
And I am Omar.
And today it's Valentine's Day, so we're gonna do a little thing together.
Correct.
So we love Brussels sprouts. It's a big part of actually almost every meal that we have, or at least very, very often. We eat them a lot. And actually we get a lot of people asking, how do we prepare Brussels sprouts? Most of the time the answer is the air fryer these days, but you can obviously do them in the oven also. But today we're gonna show you, maybe not obviously, you can also do them in the oven. But today we're gonna show you how to do like our version of a restaurant style. So when we're having a fancy dinner, like tonight, we're gonna have steak with Brussels sprouts. We'll do a restaurant style Brussels sprouts. So we fry them a little in the end, and we add some bacon and some balsamic reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay, real quick, just so you know what we need. We're gonna need, of course, Brussels sprouts. Something that we learned recently is that if they smell really strong when you just get them off the bag, they're not good. We had a bag like that last week. So they have a smell, but usually when you cook them. We have some bacon bits that we actually made, right?
I did them last night, yep.
You made them last night. And balsamic vinegar.
Because we had fried cabbage, and it was made with the bacon, and it was delicious.
It was delicious.
This is leftovers.
And we use balsamic vinegar for the reduction and some bacon grease.
Yeah, so we're gonna fry them later in bacon grease and some coconut oil, just so that it's like a mixture. But you can use any oil you want, because I know that you know, people have different opinions on different things. But you could use tallow or only bacon grease, or we use refined coconut oil because it has a higher smoking point, so it can get hotter. And is that everything? Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, yeah.
Okay, so let's start.
Let's start.
All right, so we're not going to use a ton of the balsamic vinegar, and I don't really have a measurement. It's going to reduce quite a bit, but we're only making like a serving for 2 today, so we really don't need that much at all, because a little bit goes a long way. So we're going to get this started on the back burner, and we're just going to put it on like medium low and let it come to a simmer, and it's going to reduce while we are preparing the rest of this.
Yep.
So the next thing we want to do is chop our Brussels sprouts. These are really big Brussels sprouts, and some people don't care for the bigger Brussels sprouts. They feel like they're sweeter when they're smaller, and that maybe they taste more like cabbage when they're bigger, but I think cabbage is delicious. And I really don't care what they taste like. But anyway, I don't mind the big ones. But when we do have the big ones, I'll usually cut them in quarters, where if you have the smaller ones, we'll just do the ends. Do you want to cut these?
Well, you can do it. You show.
Okay. So I cut off the bottom. This would be where it comes off the stalk if you buy one on a stalk. But I cut the bottoms off, and I cut them in half. And then because these are bigger, I'll cut them in half again. So we have quarters like this, and just put them in the bowl. I don't mind when some of the leaves, like these are the leaves from the outside, so sometimes I'll get rid of them. Or like our friend Marie told me a while ago, I put these in a bag and I will put them in our freezer. I have a current bag going right now with all the kind of scraps, like there's onions and lettuce and celery and all the scraps from stuff that we've made previously, and I put them in the freezer so that when we make bone broth, I have a little frozen flavor bag to add to the bones while we boil it. So thanks for that tip, Marie.
Big shout out to our friend Chuck, who loves Brussels sprouts. He definitely bet.
If you were going to prepare these in the oven, you would add your oil, maybe olive oil and salt and pepper, toss them, and then lay them out on parchment paper and roast them in the oven, like 375, and you'd watch them. But what we're going to do is actually use the air fryer. And you could also do the oil, salt, and pepper and throw them in the air fryer, but since we're going to fry them after, we're not going to do anything to them. So we're just going to add them to the air fryer. We're going to toss them in. There you go.
Burn them a little.
So every air fryer is different, and we just do about I literally just turn it on and then I push it. So for us it's 370, and we check it about 6 minutes. We'll shake the basket up and then check it again. You want them to get brown on the edges, and you'll still see the green, just so that we're really trying to get them soft enough, because when we do the frying process, the Brussels sprouts are not in the oil long enough to like properly soften them if you were to cook them raw in that oil. So this is like the softening process, and then the frying will be the finishing process. So now we just
wait.
You could like make your steak right now, I guess.
Right. We should have done that. Work
on salads or whatever. That's why I love the air fryer though. If you were to do this in the oven, it would take twice as much time.
Easier cleanup too. All right, let's wait.
A few moments later.
So once your balsamic vinegar starts to boil a little bit, then you want to bring down the heat a little bit. You can, I think in the camera, you can see the evaporation, the vapor, I guess, coming up. And what we want to do is get this, you can see now when I'm tipping it, it's still quite liquid, but as it reduces, it'll become very syrupy. And then the flavor is super concentrated, which is what makes it yum yum in little quantities.
Meanwhile,
the stuff we do when we're not with the kids.
I know.
So while we're waiting for the Brussels sprouts to soften up a little more, I think we can go ahead and start trying to melt our oils in the pan. So like I said earlier, we're going to use refined coconut oil. It kind of is an obscene amount, but we are frying.
And we want them to crisp up. So we notice that if you don't use enough oil or enough, grease, they won't crisp up, right? So.
And then we're going to use bacon grease. So we don't always have bacon grease. There are a lot of times when I just fry them in the coconut oil, and they are delicious that way. But I do have bacon grease, so we're going to add some bacon grease to it too.
Well, you made bacon yesterday, so.
I did. But you can store, you remember, so my mama used to have bacon grease on her, it was like in a metal thing, like a tin with a lid, and she used to keep it on the stove or near the stove, next to the stove. And they don't recommend doing that anymore now. They recommend that you keep it in the refrigerator. But you might as well get yourself a jar and save your bacon grease, because
I'm gonna check on the
beautiful thing.
Brussels sprouts. They're looking nicer and crisper. I don't know if you guys can see this. That camera maybe catches it. All right. And it's a little bit more though.
Yeah, a little bit more. So we're getting the oil nice and hot. You can see that I have a little bit of bacon fragments. Also, pardon our pan, because it is ugly because we use it a lot. And I am in the market, we are in the market to try to find new pans, and we're trying to get away from Teflon, and there's just so much research to be done. So right now it is what it is. I think this one's like a ceramic coated or something.
I don't
even know, but
got it like
we've had it
time
forever.
ago.
Yeah.
So
let's check on the Brussels sprouts.
All right.
I think they're looking pretty good.
Maybe a little bit more now.
Maybe a little bit more. Couple more minutes. So our reduction is looking a lot less than it did before. So I'm going to pull it off, or we're going to leave it here, but we're going to turn the stove off and just let it sit for a while.
A few moments later.
Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's Day. So we're turning the heat up to 400 in the last 4 minutes, just to get them a little, yeah.
The only reason they start at a lower temperature is because you don't want them to get too dark. If you were to start at a higher temperature, and they would get darker on the outside before they're softer.
Eventually.
So we have a minute or so left on the Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna make sure that we're turning up our flame now so that this oil can get nice and hot. So I have it a little above medium, like medium high. Definitely want to keep an eye on the smoking point. All right, so these are just about done. Yeah, let's show.
Let's pull them. Oh yeah, look at them.
They look really nice.
I don't know if you can see that in that camera or in this camera. Let's put them in the
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Just set it down for me, please.
Okay.
Thank you. So I can grab the handle. Okay. So we're gonna move these into our pan.
Don't forget to put some salt and pepper. Don't forget to put salt and pepper.
Oh yeah. So you can already hear the oil going, and the Brussels sprouts are gonna soak up some of the oil anyway. It's just gonna work out that way. So I like to move them around to get them all coated. I can definitely feel them popping up on my hand. So if you're not into that, maybe this isn't the meal for you. But they already look amazing and delicious. When they're in the pan like this is when you want to salt and pepper. So we'll go ahead and do that now.
Be generous.
That's our air fryer.
with
beeping.
Salt and pepper. All right.
You're gonna mix them in here. So from this point too, you could, I'm gonna turn the heat off and still let them sit here for a couple of minutes because we're almost done. From this point, you could add in like a chili Thai sauce if you wanted something sweeter, or you could add in like any kind of seasoning, red chili flakes or anything like that.
I have put some honey in the past.
That's true, he's done honey. Honey and sriracha would be really
Yeah.
yummy. Something like that. Just watch the carbs if you need to watch your carbs, or if you want to watch your carbs, watch the sugar and things that are pre-made. So everything looks yummy. I think if, you know, we weren't doing this for the film, I'd probably try to get these a little more, but you risk burning some stuff too. So we're gonna move this. This is it. They're nice and crispy. You see how beautiful that is? Yum. We're gonna move this to our serving dish. Maybe we can put that on the counter here.
This one?
Yeah. And we're just gonna put it in the bowl. So there's still a little bit of residual oil in the pan. And if that bothers you, then you probably wouldn't want to necessarily pour it. But I'm gonna try to get these here. Toasted almonds would probably be yummy in this too. We've been to a restaurant where they do mandarin oranges. Major Biddles.
Yep.
Shout out to Major Biddles. So from here, we're gonna take our bacon and we're gonna sprinkle that on. You wanna do that, babes?
A little bit more.
Yeah, might as well use it. What else
Yeah,
are we
right.
gonna do with it? And then we're gonna take our balsamic vinaigrette, or reduction. I keep calling it a vinaigrette. It is not a vinaigrette, it's a reduction. And I'm just gonna drizzle that across the top. Yum, yum. Yay! And there we have it. This is our Valentine's Day restaurant style Brussels sprouts with bacon and a balsamic vinegar reduction.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to try it.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. So I'm getting a little bit of bacon. I'm getting this. This
I know it's hot. I can see it steaming. Can you hear how crispy they are? Do you think they can pick up on that?
No, no.
They're amazing.
You can hear the crunch. I don't know if you can hear the crunch. That's so amazing.
Super yum yum.
A little more salt too. No, perfect. Never mind. That's so good.
If you end up making them, let us know about it in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Or what is your favorite way to prepare Brussels sprouts if you're into Brussels sprouts like we are?
Oh, hot.
And if you could, please subscribe or share with friends.
Yeah, like our page. We know we're doing this kind of stuff. This keto and low carb recipes, although this has a little bit of carbs, but a lot of fiber for the Brussels sprouts. And if you like it, please subscribe. and we'll keep
It
posting
makes our
stuff.
kids excited when
I know.
they see people subscribe. So.
They want to be YouTube famous, so all of them. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Everybody enjoy. I have more.